Hi everyone, Cody Hollyfield here from Mermaids and Martians of Mermaids and Martians Acclaim, and it's time for the new Bicep album, Isles. Bicep are an electronic duo from Ireland, and they first formed in 2009. And throughout this time, they have not only been producing music, but they have also been showcasing the best that genres like techno, house, and disco have to offer, formerly on their blog, Feel My Bicep. Now, from their blog, you can tell that they have a deep appreciation for electronic music. And the same could be read from their music too. Back when they released their debut album back in 2017, it wasn't the most experimental project in the electronic field, but it did see them sort of go back to basics and play with the fundamentals. Now, there isn't anything wrong with that necessarily, although I personally find a lot of their material to be a little one note, because I think it is cool to show your appreciation on your sleeve and play with the fundamentals, but they've never really made anything as interesting or as compelling as a Nicholas Jar or a Matt Mose. But despite my feelings on their music, their self-titled debut was released to critical acclaim. And you could basically ask, did they follow it up well? I don't know, but what I do know is that this thing is a lot more trim than their 2017 album. Not necessarily in the runtime, but also instrumentally as well. This thing is 49 minutes of minimalist house with an ethereal, psychedelic feel. But I will say that the album, unfortunately, doesn't always stick the landing. Tracks like Hawk kind of exemplify why I'm split right down the middle on this album, because I think that there is great stuff every once in a while, but a lot of the time you are getting stuff that is pretty lackluster. Most of the tracks on this track list, pretty much all but one, are over 4 minutes. And while 4 minutes itself isn't that big of an issue, it's not that long of a song, you are also getting 5-minute tracks and 6-minute tracks that don't need to be that long because there aren't a lot of instrumental changes or switch ups. And even though it's dance music, I just find a lot of it to be kind of trite and kind of boring. Throughout the runtime of this, I usually found myself just mindlessly bobbing my head rather than actually really listening to the track all that much. Now, of course, I did go back and listen to it again and actually try to listen to all of the different parts, but I really can't say that I enjoyed the track all that much. They don't do a lot to diversify the sounds on this album, usually sticking to those basic patterns, still trying to go with the basics, play with the fundamentals. But I think it's funny how they continue to try to do that, but my favorite moments on this album are actually those that we do see a little bit more diversity. We do see a little bit more experimentation. Take the track Atlas, where you have these very sporadic, really wild drums. Or the track Apricots, which has this really glitchy vocal sample. The track also features these pumping synth chords. Bum, 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 bum. It may not be for everybody, but I really do love the buzzy production of X as well. And the track SAKU blends 90s throwback R&B with 90s throwback house. This track has a very nostalgic feel, especially the vocals of Clara LaSanz, which are very, very beautiful. The backing vocals on this track are very, very pretty. Now, when it was first released as a single, I really wasn't the biggest fan of Sundial, but I do like how punchy the drums are. In fact, most of the drum work on this thing is pretty sharp and pretty punchy. You can feel the kicks in your chest. And while I do like the minimalist house approach in theory, the stripped back and bare nature that is featured across this 49 minutes makes the songs, especially those that are a lot less diverse, even more trite and even more boring. Overall, I don't really think that this is anything special. There are highlights in the track list, yes, but it doesn't really change my mind about Bicep entirely. I can't really say that this is anything new or anything really groundbreaking, and above all else, the songs aren't too interesting either. I'm feeling a decent 5 on this thing. What did you think of the new Bicep album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you even listen to it? If you haven't listened to it, I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, I hope you all have a good one, by the way.